Now, friend, by the clear of the moon in this firelight will I tell what I may and can of my tale. Thus it is, if I be wholly of the race of Adam, I wot not, nor can I tell thee how many years old I may be. For there are, as it were, shards or gaps in my life, wherein are but a few things dimly remembered, and doubtless many things forgotten. Hello and welcome to Liam's Lyceum. I'm your host, Liam, aka Hembar. Today I'll be doing a spoiler-free review of William Morris's The Wood Beyond the World. The Wood Beyond the World is an 1894 novel by the one and only William Morris. It is the fourth of his prose romances, and it's the fourth of his prose romances that I've read. I'm reading them in order. So Golden Walter of the Goldings is living at Langton-on-Holme and is melancholy once his wife leaves him and gets with another man. To avoid dispute in his sadness, he goes aboard a ship called the Catherine. It is only that after they have been out to sea several months that he hears his wife's clan has killed his father. His departure is accompanied by a vision of a dwarf, a maid, and a lady. It's awesome, and these three are important, of course, and we particularly go to land that is ruled by this lady in a similar manner to Narnia and The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Even goes so far as to say it is dangerous to speak in the woods because of who might be listening. A dwarf later reminded me some of Gollum with his mode of speech and the way he spoke about eating. There are two bad women in this story and one good one. There are no middle ground women, I would say. It's an interesting and outdated mode, of course. I wasn't that bothered by it since it's an attempt at a medieval style. Just a warning as well. It's also from 1894. And honestly, I feel like William Morris, of the old fantasy authors, he is probably the one I would recommend. He is just such a treat to read every time I read something by him. The archaism of Morris is not much on the syntax, it's rather his vocabulary. He replaces modern words with old ones, and once you learn them, it's rather easy to read and quite fun. It's a fun challenge, I think, anyways, for someone like me. The Wood Beyond the World is deceptive and a place of lies, in contrast with the more paradisal, glittering plain of the previous prose romance, which I've also done a review of. There is a passage about the golden house in this wood that refers to, something I would wager is an inspiration for the golden hall of Meduseld and Rohan in The Lord of the Rings, where that house is lessened in courtesy. Anyways, throughout the tale, there is a feeling of unease, of magic. This one might not be a secondary world like Glittering Plain, since Christendom, Gentiles, and Saracens aren't mentioned. It's a little unclear, though. Along with the quote of "Mastery mows the meadow, and one man is of little might against many," and the raising of Carl and maid and thrall to quite high status, maybe a socialist theme as well. There's a lot of interesting things to explore here, but also it's rather short and it's just fun. There is a little less poetry in this one, which is actually sad to me, but some might like that. So maybe I would put this as my third favorite, potentially second favorite. My favorite of the prose romances so far is still The House of the Wolfings. My least favorite is The Roots of the Mountains. But the influence on Tolkien is very obvious, I feel like, and the roots just on fantasy in general. It's an interesting go-between between chivalric romance of the medieval period and also of like fairy tales, which were particularly popular in the 19th century during the Romantic period, but also just later fantasy, especially epic fantasy, though I wouldn't really call this epic for that matter. It's mostly about Golden Walter and the maid, you could say. So this also seemed strikingly similar to a group of characters you find in Three Hearts and Three Lions by Paul Anderson, and I'm not sure if he ever read this and took inspiration from it, but I was reading both at the same time, and the semblance was a little uncanny, I felt like, to be too much of a coincidence, but it could still be a coincidence. Anyways, someone should read William Morris, so I have someone to talk to about William Morris, because I'm a big fan, and I think some of my readers might be as well if they were just give them a try. They're in the public domain. They're so old. So anyways, Liam from Liam's Lyceum. I will catch you next time.